Okay, so today we're diving into something pretty interesting.
Yeah,
It looks like you're really into coffee,
I am a little bit.
and you sent over these sources about Denver's coffee scene
Mm-hmm.
and how, like, politics and, like, global trade and stuff almost
Yeah,
uh, mess things up big time.
exactly.
So we're gonna break it all down for you today.
Awesome.
So Denver, yeah, right? It's got this, like, huge coffee culture.
Oh, yeah, it's known for it.
People there take their coffee seriously.
Very seriously.
And back in 2019, I think it was,
Yeah,
President Trump was like thinking about putting these tariffs
right.
on coffee imports from Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
And Colombia is like
Huge.
a major coffee producer.
Yeah, one of the biggest.
Yeah, so this wasn't just some
Right.
small thing.
No. This was a big deal.
So I guess the first question is, like, what even are tariffs?
So basically,
Or how would they even work?
it's like adding a tax
Okay.
to stuff brought in from other countries.
So imported goods.
Exactly.
Okay. And that makes them more expensive, obviously.
So, like, for coffee, then
Yeah.
that extra cost, like, who ends up paying for it?
Well, it kind of goes, like, down the line.
Okay.
So first, the importers have to pay more.
Okay.
Then they pass that cost on to the roasters,
Mm-hmm.
the people who actually roast the beans.
Right.
And then finally it
Yeah.
hits the coffee shops.
And then, like, us.
And ultimately,
When we buy our latte.
the consumer.
Okay, so Denver, though,
Yeah.
it's not just like any coffee town.
No.
They're really into specialty coffee.
Huge specialty coffee scene.
Yeah, like single origin,
Oh, yeah.
all that stuff.
Microlots, all of it.
Yeah, and I know like Colombian beans are a big deal there.
Oh, absolutely. Especially those ones with those, like, bright, fruity flavors.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. From the Wheeler region.
So, like, how would those tariffs have affected like Denver specifically?
Those roasters who were using those specific Colombian beans,
All right.
they would have been in a tough spot.
Yeah, they could either like eat the costs themselves,
What did it mean?
which would really cut into their profits,
Oh.
or they could raise their prices and
Yeah.
risk losing customers.
Yeah, because people in Denver,
They know their coffee.
they're not going to pay
They're not just going to accept
like $3 extra for a latte.
exactly. They'd go somewhere else.
So what were coffee shops doing back then?
There was a lot of talk about,
Like, how to deal with this.
yeah, a lot of concern, definitely.
Yeah.
Like I saw in the stuff you sent,
Mm-hmm.
they were talking about maybe trying to find coffee from other places.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like different origins.
But that can't be easy.
It's not.
Like finding new suppliers and stuff.
It takes time. You have to build relationships.
And make sure the quality is good
Yeah, and matching those specific flavor profiles.
that you're talking about.
Exactly like those Colombian beans that people love.
Yeah, and so it's not a simple switch.
No, not at all.
Wow, it's crazy how, like, what Trump was doing could have affected
It's true.
people's coffee in Denver.
Global politics impacting your local coffee shop.
Wild.
It is.
But in the end, he, like, backed down.
He did, yeah.
So no tariffs.
No tariffs on Colombian coffee.
So crisis averted
Yeah,
for the time being.
but it kind of feels like it exposed bigger issue.
Yeah, like how vulnerable
Yeah,
the coffee supply chain is.
especially for a place like Denver
Right.
that's so reliant on...
On those specialty beans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things
Yep.
that coffee shops are still worried about?
I mean, who knows what's going to happen with trade policies?
Right, like tariffs could come back,
Yeah, exactly.
and there could be other, like,
Trade wars.
yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
And that makes it hard for businesses to plan.
It does, because they don't know what their costs are going to be.
Right?
Like, how can you plan for the future
Yeah.
when you don't know how much you're going to have to pay for your beans
Right.
in a year or two? And then on top of that,
Yeah.
the coffee market itself,
Oh, it's volatile.
all over the place.
Prices go up and down all the time.
So, like, what causes that?
It's a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like the weather.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Bad weather can ruin crops.
And then less coffee.
Exactly. Less supply means higher prices.
And then, like, political stuff.
Oh, yeah. Instability in producing countries?
They could definitely affect things.
Definitely.
And, like, if people start drinking,
More or less coffee.
yeah, if demand changes.
That'll affect prices, too.
Wow, so many factors.
Just a complex system.
And this whole tariff thing just showed how vulnerable a city like Denver is
Absolutely.
to all of that.
Especially with their focus on...
High quality,
Yeah.
specific beans.
It really does make you think
Does-
about, like, where your coffee comes from.
Right, it's not just like you
Yeah.
go to the store and buy it.
There's a whole journey.
It's a whole global thing.
Yeah,
It's kind of amazing.
it is.
So even though, like, Denver got lucky
Yeah,
and the tariffs didn't happen,
right.
it showed that,
There are these underlying issues.
yeah, and they're not going away.
Exact.
But at least the coffee shop's there.
They're resilient.
They sound like they are.
They're figuring out ways to adapt
Yeah.
to all this uncertainty.
Makes you wonder, like, what other everyday things
We never know.
are affected by this stuff?
It's a good question to think about.
Yeah. And then that about wraps it up for this deep dive.
Another one down.
Until next time, folks, keep exploring.
Stay curious.
And we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.